I'm Jacob Hamilton,
And I'm Hidro Joseph.
and welcome to the Hardwood Huddle podcast, a podcast where we break down the latest news and games in the NBA and basketball world. Hidro, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Lots of hoops all weekend. It's just like hoop cinema around
Yeah,
here. Nothing but bouncing balls and fights going on because they seemingly the buddy system of everybody's friends in the NBA doesn't seem to carry over come playoff time. It looks like there's a lot of infighting between the players,
yeah,
uh, quotes in between games directed at players
yeah,
and technical fouls, flagrant fouls. It's been fun.
yeah. And Draymond Green telling Jalen Green to paint his nails. That one definitely got me for good for sure. All right, open. I mean, last episode we started the new DBR, the dead ball review. Why don't we start that? Start that again here.
Yeah, the dead ball review is basically the Hardwood Huddle team just discussing the dead ball state of an NBA team as its season come to its end. So anytime a team finishes their season with a loss instead of a win, so 29 out of the 30 teams should feel disappointment at the end of the season. And we just discuss how the season went and they should plan to do about uh, what they should plan to do about it for next season. So uh, we got a lot of teams that were gone for the off season, but just want to talk about one whose season ended this weekend in the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies, they finished with the 48 and 34 record, which is actually really good, especially for um, the West, the Western Conference. They made
Yep.
the NBA playoffs as the A seed, but in order to make the playoffs as an A seed, the top six teams get the automatic bid into the playoffs and get to rest while the last four teams in the conference have to battle it out in the play-in tournament.
Yep.
They lost a tight game to the Golden State Warriors for the seventh seed and the right to face my Houston Rockets. So they had to play again, and they beat up on the Dallas Mavericks, who obviously were missing Kyrie Irving, and so they ended up with the A seed, got destroyed by Oklahoma City Thunder, who are the favorites to make it out of the Western Conference. That first game was one of the most awful games you could probably experience as an NBA team.
Yeah.
They lost by 51 points. Uh, the worst playoff loss in Grizzlies history. Uh, Followed up by game two, which they lost by like 20 points. So we're talking about over 70 points worth of losses in the first couple of days of their playoffs. And I feel like that should have been something that puts them down and out. But no, they ended up with like around a 29-point lead in game three when they headed to Memphis. But the downfall, John Morant got hurt. There was a pass Scottie Pippen Jr. threw behind him on a fast break to John Morant. He got undercut by Lou Dort and fell and I think hurt his right hip. It looked pretty bad. For
Yeah.
whatever reason, he shot the free throws and just left and never came back. So I feel like for me, I feel like if you shoot free throws, your intent is to come back, like you're not hurt.
Yeah.
So that's why you shoot the free throws. But if you actually not going to be able to come back, you feel like you're hurt. You probably shouldn't shoot the free throws. But shot the
Yeah.
free throws, missed. He went like 1 for 2, and then left and didn't return. The Grizzlies lost that game. Uh, as a OKC went on an incredible run to come back, and I think they won by 6. And then the last game, it was a nail biter. They did not. The Grizzlies did not have John Morant, and it showed at the end because they could not get a final shot in. Ended up losing by 2 points, and they got swept. So now the Grizzlies have one playoff series win with their current core group in the last 5 seasons, maybe more. And they still have a star in John Morant, who
Yep.
has been with the team for 6 seasons, and I got two pairs of his shoes. His shoes are really popular. He's averaging 22.6 points per game, 7.4 assists, 4.7 rebounds. Highlights for their season include a 21 game improvement from last season. But the low light, they had to fire their coach, Taylor Jenkins, with 11 games left in the regular season. And they had an interim coach. So obviously during this offseason, they'll be looking for a coach. They got good young players and Scottie Pippen Jr., who I was very impressed with watching this season. Jalen Wells, who's an impressive rookie before he got injured and out for the season.
Yep.
And Gigi Jackson. Some notable free agents include Santi Aldama, whom I really like because he averaged around 14 points per game and was a solid contributor in the rotation. Luke Kennard and the shooter, and Marvin Bagley III, who was the number 2 pick in the draft, I think in 2018. I think the same Luka Doncic draft. Sacramento Kings took him. So yeah, bad by them. Uh, let's see. In the draft room, the Grizzlies had control of all of their picks starting in 2026, but they actually could have kept their pick had they missed the playoffs. I think they made the playoffs and had to surrender their 2025 pick, their pick, mind you. I think they got somebody else's pick. I think maybe the Rockets pick or something like that for 2025, but that's a lot lower than what it could have been if they could have been in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. And here's a quote from John Morant after the Thunder brought out the broomsticks on his Grizzlies. Quote, I feel like every injury I had this year was out of my control. Outside of those injuries, I feel like I had one of my healthiest seasons. Also, Morant also mentioned he felt like the Grizzlies would have been tied 2-2 with OKC right now if he didn't get hurt. Quote, I had them figured out, unquote. So, to you, Mr. Jacob, do you agree with John Morant's quote? That's a bonus question. Normally just ask 3 questions, but I'm going to ask you that one.
You know, it's hard to say I do agree with the quote because uh you're who knows what those games truly look like if Ja is in those games. Obviously, if we're just looking at the numbers now, yeah, it probably would be tied 2-2. But is that a for certain thing? Absolutely not. Um, but I think it would definitely the series wouldn't be over right now if he played one of those games, just one of them. I think he could have gotten obviously a win for the team. Like it's still John Morant at the end of the day, probably not playing to like the level that he was playing at some points, right? But definitely able to get him guaranteed one win. But that's just me. How do you feel about the quote?
In my opinion, he missed one game. He was in game 3. He just got hurt.
Yeah.
And him being out for just, half of the game essentially.
Yep.
And his team surrendering a 29-point lead at home tells me that with or without John Morant, this team probably wasn't going to take more than one game.
Yeah.
If that, I think with the healthy John Morant, maybe they could have kept that 30-point lead. However, I also feel like Oklahoma City could have still came back with or without John Morant.
Yeah.
So I can't promise you that would have been a thing, that they would have been tied 2-2 or anything like that. I don't take anything away from the depth of the Grizzlies the depth of the Thunder and how well they played this season. In terms of injuries, I do feel like he was on the court more often. I saw him play live in Houston and enjoy his play, but he does still play pretty reckless. So I do anticipate him missing games in the future, the way he skies in the air and his thin frame.
Yeah. And obviously, like, it's sad to say, but I mean, we've seen guys like Derrick Rose who used to jump through the roof and then get hurt. I mean, and we've seen like guys like Russell Westbrook. Obviously, he hasn't gotten to an injury to the level of Derrick Rose, but like that might not be a sustainable thing. And obviously, look at Russ now. Like he's still a good player, but he's not a player that is getting high praises all the time for everything
Mm-hmm.
that he's done. And that's just because they just dunk the ball. That's the only comparison I had for them there. But yeah.
All right. Actual quick questions on the Grizzlies. What do you think went wrong for the Grizzlies? You let me know if you want me to go first or these.
You know, yeah, you let I answered first last time. You can go first this time. It's all you.
All right. For me, the Grizzlies at some point during this season they were like number 2 in the Western Conference. They were actually playing like late in the season. I would say January, February. At some point they were second in the West, and it was a tight Western Conference race. So it's almost like needling to determine what exactly went wrong. But you do feel like that the Grizzlies management took matters into their own hands when they realized that there was a drop off to the point where this team went from number 2 in the Western Conference by like a game or two
Mm-hmm.
to the play-in tournament. So I personally think that they needed more. Basically, their depth was called into question when it came to being able to sustain where they were at for the entire season.
Yeah.
So I feel like what went wrong was simply you maxed out with the players that you had, and they needed some more depth to sustain them for the entirety of the regular season because it's a tight Western Conference race. You can't miss games. You had a breakout player in Jalen Wells who was super helpful in getting you to where you were at,
Yeah.
and potentially was in the running for Rookie of the Year, and then he gets hurt and is out for the season. So you're losing depth there that they counted on. And then you got guys like Zach Edey who were playing well, but the rookie wall hits, and all of a sudden you get this lull, which I personally not sure if a rookie wall really exists. I think it's more of a team starts scouting you, and
Yeah.
you don't have time during the season to make the adjustment skill wise. It's kind of like I need the off season to figure out what they're doing to me and fix
Yeah.
all of that. So basically, I think it was a depth issue as a result of uh, just the long season. The teams with more depth rose to the top
Yeah.
at the end of the season. What about you?
Yeah, I totally agree. And obviously, like they fired their coach only with 11. Right, that was 11 games that you said. I just want to make
Yep.
sure. Yep, 11
Mm-hmm.
with 11. They fired Taylor Jenkins with 11 games left in the regular season, and then you just start then because for me at least, it seemed kind of out of the blue, and that's also because I'm not in Memphis Grizzlies circles like Memphis Grizzlies fans are, and so they obviously know what's going on. Um, and then correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seemed like John Morant had an issue with how he would like. I want to say the amount of time he just had control of the ball. I think like that had a factor in it. That could be wrong. Don't quote me. Um, but yeah, I mean, you really hit everything nail on the head there. Depth. I mean, depth is obviously a number one issue, and like what you said, Zach Edey. People kind of eventually see past just the height and just like the power, right, that he has because they finally get to study him. Like obviously they got to see college tape, but you make a jump from college to the NBA, so you can't be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, we know that like he likes to go to this move because who knows? The Grizzlies could have been like, they're gonna catch you doing that same move every time, and then you're cooked. But yeah, Jalen Wells, obviously, I mean, that was just a terrible injury anyway. Um, but yeah, I think you really hit a nail on the head there.
What do you like about the Grizzlies moving forward?
Yeah. Moving forward, I kind of said this about the Hawks in a sense as well, is that they can technically go in any direction, right? They're not the oldest team in the league with John Morant, Triple J. I mean, now Jalen Wells, Desmond Bain, but Desmond Bain is up for a contract
No,
extension, I believe.
no, he's under contract.
He's under
He's good.
contract still. Um, but I like how they can dictate whatever they really want to do this offseason. They they don't have a head coach, so they get to start fresh with a new head coach, and that can mean starting fresh with a bunch of new personnel. Because if their Ja did get hurt, that's not his fault. That's out of his control. But they could be like, hey, listen, like we're kind of done with this experiment, and they probably won't do that. But I like that they're expendable. They can change. I like that.
The expendability.
The
I just made that word up.
expendability of the
Maybe,
Memphis
maybe.
Grizzlies is my favorite. What about yourself?
uh,
What do you like about the Grizzlies moving forward?
I like the. I personally like the young players
Mm-hmm.
on the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
I feel like Scottie Pippen Jr. took a leap,
Yep.
and he's been playing like super solid ball. Just watching him play this past few games even, but all season he's been playing really well. I think they got a lot to look forward to with Jalen Wells and Zach Edey. Uh, Zach Edey. A lot of times they stopped playing through Zach Edey.
Mm-hmm.
When at the beginning of the season it felt like he was a part of their offense. They incorporated him to keep him comfortable. And then when you start getting to the end of the season in the playoffs, it seems like he was somewhat of an afterthought. And when you started giving him the ball, he had trouble holding on to it,
Yep.
as opposed to, there's plenty of tape of him being able to get the ball down deep and score with ease against any player in college. Another thing I noticed is that a lot of people started to get really worried attacking Zach Edey because it was kind of a dangerous foray to the rim. You could actually hurt yourself going up
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
him. So I feel like the next coach that they hire will be able to see that as a strength, as well as uh, his screening for Ja
Yep.
to go downhill and be able to utilize that a lot. Like people like to utilize Rudy Gobert with his screens, and anywhere from Donovan Mitchell to now Anthony Edwards, able to use those screens to go downhill with at super high rates. So young guys, I feel like
Yep.
look good for them. They've been hitting well on their draft picks.
They
If you
have.
were if you were running the Grizzlies, what would you do? Keep in mind John Morant and Desmond Bain. Desmond Bain's their best shooter. They're both under contract at least through 2028, so you don't have to worry about that. And they are about $7 million under the cap. But looking ahead monetarily, I feel like they're probably going to struggle to extend Jaren Jackson Jr. before
Yeah.
he's a free agent in 2026. Because at this point, like their goal is probably in the offseason to extend Jaren Jackson Jr.,
Mm-hmm.
who's a defensive ace and one of their cornerstones to that they got paired with John Morant. And if they do sign him, it's likely that they'll be a first apron team and limited in what they can do. Like this might be their roster. This 48 win team is their roster. I'm not sure if that's the ceiling that they were hoping for. So,
Yeah.
what would you do if you were running the Grizzlies?
You it's kind of it, obviously you have to extend Jaren Jackson Jr. right in any way possible. You're gonna want to try to keep that duo of John and Jaren together. But the possibility of that is the part where it comes into question because 7 million under the cap right now. I don't know. I'd have to check and see who's expiring this offseason and whatever. Um, but I there were rumors that the Suns made a call to the Suns at the deadline to see what they can try to do for a KD push. Maybe they see that like obviously some teams panic right when they get in situations like this, and it's like okay, we just got swept. Like let's try to make a splash here. So maybe they try to go and get at Kevin Durant. Don't know if the chances of that are high, um, because who knows if KD even wants to be in Memphis. Uh, but I don't know. I think maybe I'm running it back another year with just that duo of Jaren and Ja. That's what I would do. Maybe kind of see after that, check it out at the deadline, see what they have going on there. If they're significantly below expectations, or if they're above it and they're like, okay, we have nothing else to do here. But obviously, they're in a Western Conference that's very stacked. We've seen that like coming down to the last week of the season. I think the second seed and the eighth seed were within however many games of each other. Uh, could be the third seed, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. If I'm the GM, I'm gonna let it ride one more season up until the deadline, and then make decisions there. That's where I'm heading at. If I'm the Grizzlies, but where what do you yeah, what do you think here?
If it were me, oh, and by the way, Evan Turner just had this monster jam. Indiana is currently playing Milwaukee. Indiana's leading 2-1, and it's the leading 2-1 in their series and leading 65-53 with 11 and a half minutes to go in the third for this game four. So that's where we're at on this Sunday night.
Yep.
In terms of the Grizzlies, they need a coach. I would
Yeah.
I would give Mike Malone a call and gauge his interest. He won a championship recently with the Denver Nuggets, and you have a superstar in John Morant. Perhaps he could utilize him in the same frame as Jamal Murray
Mm-hmm.
back in Denver, where he was fired a little bit after Taylor Jenkins, by the way, with 3 games left in the season. So
Yeah.
that was pretty crazy. But I would say you give him a call, see why he was fired, why everybody keeps calling him an asshole when
Yep. Yeah.
after he gets fired, like in Sacramento and now in Denver, even though he's a really good coach for these teams and they show progress. And presumably you hire him and your team shows progress too without you having to change much of anything. I do feel like he can develop young guys. I like how Christian Brown has been developing in Denver. So you got a bunch of good young guys in Memphis that I feel like he could work with too. So I would
Yeah.
just go in that direction and obviously resign the free agents that you can.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me make sure I can get this
So
down.
the playoffs have continued.
The
Um,
playoffs.
we we are now halfway through most series, as they should be coming to an end for the most part this week. So what we got? The Lakers and Timberwolves.
Lakers Timberwolves. That was the most recent game that had finished today. So I was thinking, why don't we start with that one? Uh, well, now the Timberwolves have a 3-1 lead over the Lakers. Beat the Lakers today as of April 27th, 116 to 113, with Austin Reeves missing a game tying 3 with point 0.9 remaining on the clock here. I just want to start with this question for you. How concerned are you that the Lakers just might go into LA and just lose and get in 5 games? How concerned are you that might happen?
Uh, should be plenty concerned. I do
Yeah.
think that the Lakers' weaknesses going into this series and this playoffs have not changed.
Yep.
They're still small and they're still being exploited for that when it comes to protecting the paint.
Yep.
And once you're unable to do that, it kind of opens up the 3-point line when you help with rim rushes to the paint. So I like what they tried to do in terms of making LeBron like the de facto center,
Yep.
and he was getting some monster blocks against Dante DiVincenzo and stuff at the end,
Yeah.
which very impressive for a 40-year-old player.
Crazy.
So shout out to him for the numbers he's been putting up. I don't know if you got his numbers for this series up right now.
Well, I have his numbers for today. 27 points, 12 boards, along with 8 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks, with a 79% true shooting.
That's crazy. He had 38 points the last game, and
Yeah.
they lost that one also. So I, it's interesting that they got two potential closers on their team, and Austin Reeves seems to be the one taking the last shots.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the other teams are saying, "Hey, we're gonna let the third guy beat us," and that's not happening. So I'm not sure if one of Luca or LeBron needs to be forcing the issue in hopes
Mhm.
of them maybe getting a getting a rebound or something like that to be able to get a more wide open shot. Like you get a rebound and get an open three or something like that. But they are in trouble. I don't believe that they have the personnel to come back from a 3-1 lead. So I'm
Yeah.
not exactly sure when it ends, but I think it's gonna end.
Yeah. I think the Timberwolves are going to come out of this series as well, which is funny because I thought this was going to be a 7-game series win by the Lakers, and who knows that this series could end in 5 games, which would be surprising in my opinion. But we also have another 3-1 that's surprising me as well. I just wanted to go back here and take a look at the rebounding numbers between the game that the Lakers did win, which they ended with 41 boards, and the Timberwolves ended with 34. So there's a difference there in a win, but
Mm-hmm.
the scores are kind of like a tell all for me. Game 1 was 117-95. Timberwolves take the win. Game 2, which is the one that the Lakers won, 94-85. Game 3, Timberwolves 116-104. Game 4, 116-113. So we can obviously tell that there's a pattern here of what's happening. Uh, I mean, a guy who, for me, that's playing insane and out of this world is Jaden McDaniels. I'll give it to Jaden McDaniels. Over through this series, he's had 16 today, along with 11 boards. He had 30 in game 3, 8 points in game 2, but opened the series with 25 points. I mean, Jaden McDaniels is scoring like this. This is like you're almost like destined to get beat, kind of like that, you know. But yeah, I think it's definitely weird because you lose a game where LeBron scores 38, and then you lose a game where Luka scores 38, so you have that as well. Uh, I guess the small ball's not working, like you said. The rebounding's just not there. Um, Jackson
They
Hayes
start.
is almost unplayable. He's I
Yep.
want to see his exact numbers of how many minutes he's played because he's played significantly less minutes than he was during the regular season, and obviously that's per team. But yeah, uh, he's had a 1 point performance, a 2 point performance, a 2 point performance, and a 2 point performance. So he's only getting enough shots to score one bucket, pretty much, and that's obviously not helping with, especially with boards and all that. So yeah, I think the Lakers might have met their demise here actually. Um,
It just seems like Rui Hachimura is being forced to put up
yep,
some very heavy numbers. It feels like Austin Reeves is being depended on quite a bit.
yep.
It feels like uh, what's his name? Number
D,
20.
uh, DFS, they're relying on
Yeah,
DFS a
Finney
lot.
Smith, Dorian Finney Smith, correct. Trying to trying to they kick out to a shooter, and that seems to be the guy that's open all the time, and that's by design. The Timberwolves are eliminating their they're trying to eliminate the Lakers' best scorers and make the third guy beat them. And the third guys have been hitting shots, and they've also been missing shots in a tight game. Uh, Ideally, when you have your 40-year-old scoring so many points, you find a way to win tight games, and they're just not doing that. Some of that could be pointed towards the rookie coaching.
Yep,
I feel that JJ Redick found something when it came to his defense in game 2. And when they've gone to Minnesota, all of a sudden it seems like all it takes is a quick burst of runs, and all of a sudden the Minnesota clears the gap between where the Lakers being ahead of them, and then all of a sudden falling behind. For instance, this last game they were up 10, 12 points going into the fourth quarter,
yep.
and all of a sudden the shots that Anthony Davis had trouble with in terms of the 3-point shooting. All of a sudden, he's making 4 or 5 threes in the fourth quarter. That can't happen. Like, if
Yeah,
you're up by that much, why are you giving up 3-pointers to give them a chance to beat you? Why is Anthony Davis not being forced to like put two on the ball? And if you give up a layup, that's not 3 points.
yeah,
Two is better than three. So maybe they need to figure it out, statistically, how they want to approach it. A maybe you need to do hack a Gobert or something
yeah.
to kick off a fourth quarter to kind of slow down the scoring. Just different ideas to generate victories in a close matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at Anthony Edwards' fourth quarter stats here. I mean, he had 16 points in the fourth
That
quarter.
was freaking ridiculous
Crazy.
what he was doing.
He's top five. Like Jason Tatum was saying that one time where he got a fresh haircut. He's like, I'm top five. He's like, I don't know what I'm top five of what, but I'm top five. And Anthony Edwards is like playing like that for me. Expect that fourth quarter was crazy. 3 for 4 from three in the fourth. Ended the game with 43 points, 9
It
boards.
felt like more. It felt like more
It
than
did
that.
feel like more. I thought I was gonna look at uh the app, real app, where I get my scores and stats, and I was gonna see Ant have 50. Like that was just kind of what I was like, oh, he's probably got somewhere close to 50. Only 43 yet. It felt like a lot more than that. But the fun fact here, NBA playoff history in today's game, for the first time a team has ever played the same five players for a whole half. JJ Redick did not substitute Luka, LeBron, Reeves, Rui, and DFS out from the start of the third all the way to the fourth. I mean, then that shows you the size, right, that they have. Like there's not the tallest person on the court is LeBron at 6'9", I believe. DFS could be close to that, but yeah, definitely scary times for the Lakers here.
But shout out to Minnesota. Like, they were in
Yeah,
the conference finals last year, and they seem like they're heading in that same direction, given that the the series they'll be waiting for is the Rockets versus the hobbled Warriors.
yep, yeah, and especially with that turnaround that they had too, like just not anything I truly expected. This was the last thing I expected from this series, at least. Um, so an active series that we have going on right now is the Pacers versus the Bucks. I just want to make sure this is known information. Maybe you don't know this, but Damian Lillard has left the game with a feared torn left Achilles. That could be wrong. He could be back now. I'm not watching the game right now, but I just want to.
And he's not on the court right now that I could see.
Yeah, and if obviously we get any live updates from that, I'll obviously bring that up. But yeah, I mean, right now the score of this game, you said it earlier, but just want to recap it: 80-67 Pacers. The series is 2-1 right now. So I mean, I know there's not really too much to talk about here because the Pacers have been playing some real basketball. But what do you need to see done for this Bucks team to actually come back out of this and take this series? Because I mean, personal opinion, I don't think it's happening.
They're not coming back. I do not like the makeup of the Milwaukee Bucks,
Yeah.
and I got a lot to say about them once their season finally comes to an end. So I'll just hold all of that until
Okay.
that happens, which will be soon. But with that being said, just wanted to say that it's interesting that the Portland Trailblazers decided not to do right by their franchise star in Damian Lillard when he requested to go to my Miami Heat team.
Yep.
I don't know if he requested or Miami asked to speak to speak to the Trailblazers with regards to what would they be interested in a trade, and they chose not to go in that direction and traded him to a place that he did not want to go, that he did not request to go anyways.
Yep.
And so his going over there mixed with their hiring of Doc Rivers uh, after firing their their championship head coach and Mike Budenholzer, it's kind of like, I don't want to say you get what you deserve,
Yeah.
but you know they traded Drew Holiday, which was an important piece for them
Yep.
in order to get this Damian Lillard on their team. It feels like they did all of this to appease Giannis,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if that was prudent towards what the franchise had versus what they got.
Yeah.
So what they had was a championship winning team with Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, former Texas A&M Aggie. I'm an Aggie, get him, and Giannis, two-time MVP and one-time Finals MVP, and now they butt into the Damian Lillard negotiations for a trade. Get Damian Lillard, trade Drew Holiday, who gets rerouted to the Boston Celtics and wins a championship over there, and then they trade Chris Middleton, who was a cornerstone of their franchise
Yep.
for maybe 10 years. They trade him to one of the worst teams in the league, in the Wizards,
Yep.
so they can get Kyle Kuzma, who scores 0.0 rebounds, 0 assists, all of
Yeah.
that stuff,
Yeah.
0 everything in 22 minutes in their first game. So, what was the payoff for that lack of loyalty? This right
Nothing.
here, they're
Yeah.
getting blown out right now, even though they have a candidate, one of the top 3 candidates for MVP, healthy on their roster.
Yeah. And I mean, I want to go back to Kuzma here, because it's just comedic to me, because these NBA owners and GMs, I feel like they think they got a lot of power, and I think that's obviously what we kind of saw with a couple of things go down during the trade deadline. But I mean, trading away Chris Middleton for a guy and Kyle Kuzma who's given you a 0.000 performance, a 12-point performance, a 9-point performance, and as of right now, 3 points, I believe.
Yeah, he ain't on the court right now.
In the game that the Pacers did lose and the Bucks took, let me make sure I just have the right score here. 117 to 101. They had to win a game with a Gary Trent magnet ball. Like, he had 37 points. Like, obviously, and let me go down the rest of the roster here. Giannis had 37 with 12 boards and 6 assists. Gary Trent had 37. AJ Green, I believe is his name, 12 points. Dame 7. Bobby Portis 10. Jericho Sims 4. Kevin Porter Jr. 1. Kuzma 9. Brook Lopez 0. And those are the guys all above 10 minutes, so that played meaningful minutes. I mean, like, even like all those guys play terrible, and you have a Gary Trent 37-point performance, and that's the win. Like, congratulations, that's what this was all about. Y'all wanted Dame to make Giannis happy, and y'all got a 37-point performance from Gary Trent Jr. to send you out in the first round. So
imagine
that's all
imagine Damian Lillard if he actually tore his Achilles. You said Achilles, right?
Yeah. Then what?
Imagine that he's under contract for the next 2 seasons for $120 million.
So he's making $60 million a year.
Yeah, he 58 million next year and 63 million the following year as a player option, and then Giannis is a free agent the year after that.
Yeah.
So, and you're like 6th in the NBA in salaries, so in highest salary. So, where are you gonna go? Like, the Kyle Kuzma 0.000 Kuzma is your 3rd highest paid player with 20-some million dollars over the next 2 seasons also. So this is your team.
Yeah.
It seems like, for better or worse. I guess they're gonna have to figure out Brook Lopez and stuff. He's currently not on the. He's currently being played off the court as well. Maybe they
And
should have let him go to the Rockets when he was about to go instead of matching his contract and keeping him there. I'm not sure.
and that's the thing. It's like what like Milwaukee fans are going to be torn apart when Giannis asks for a trade. Like, but if I'm a Milwaukee fan, I'm not mad at Giannis for that. I wouldn't be like, oh, like get out of here. Like you don't want to be here. We don't want you anyway. Because at the end of the day, if they do say that, we know you want Giannis here. Giannis is a likable character, right? Because not a lot of people like the way he plays basketball, but as a person, he
Mm-hmm.
just seems very joyful. Um, but yeah, what happens when you have to trade him? And then what happens if Dame is like, or if a team's like, we don't want Dame. Like he hasn't shown anything to where we're like, hey, this is what we're trading for, and this is it. So the Milwaukee Bucks got a lot of things to handle this coming off season, and I'm excited for the dead ball review on them. I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit before. We talked about this series, but it's just going to be a very interesting one because I'm excited.
Giannis, Giannis is 31, I
Yeah,
believe, 30 or 31. So by the end of this contract, he'll be like 33 ish.
yeah, and who knows how long this is sustainable, right? Like Giannis is a brawler, right? He'll go in there and bump shoulders. It's like he's playing football out there sometimes. Like this might
And
not. Who knows how long this is sustainable for?
it's no longer sustainable. An Achilles tear in April means next season's lost.
Yep. Oh man, yeah. That's it's.
We can go to the next one.
It's. I mean, it's just. Yeah. Let me change the banner here. You know what? Let's talk about this one here. Let's talk about the Clippers versus the Nuggets. Um.
Everybody really likes this series.
Yeah. I mean, I'm enjoying it, and I feel like everyone is. They should be.
We're gonna ignore that game 3 Clippers victory by I think like 15 points and just move on to this game 4 that
Yeah.
everybody's been talking about.
Yeah. That works with me. That works with me.
The
So
series is currently tied 2-2, by
yep.
the way.
Yeah, so if you're not paying attention and you don't have social media or anything, I don't know how you're a human in the year of 2025 without it. But we had a walk off putback dunk for or a putback. Is that what we call air balls now? Is that what we call airball dunks? Putback dunks. Um, yeah, Aaron Gordon with a walk off putback dunk.
Jokic would call it an assist.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, what is that? Like, he takes a shot, and I'm like, that's off. Like, it's over. And then Aaron Gordon gets the value. And by the way, I just want to say something this is to the media. You got to put some respect on the value. The Suns actually had the first walk-off game-winning alley-oop in the playoffs against the Clippers. So that's 2 of them for the Clippers. I got to grab a computer charger so you can start this. I'll let you start this.
All right, so it's 2-1 Clippers, and you got the Denver Nuggets hoping to get a split in hoping to catch the split instead of go down 3-1. And it looks like the Clippers are going to come out with it, but Jokic takes a shot. They're down, I think, 1 point, and Jokic takes a shot to win the game, airballs it, and Aaron Gordon is able to catch the missed shot in the air, dunk the ball as the buzzer sounding, and from the looks of it, it looked like Aaron Gordon still had his fingertips on the ball when the clock ran out. But upon replay review, they said that the ball went through the cylinder before the red light came on. And a lot of people in Clipperland are not happy about that. But it's been a very exciting series so far. 3 out of the 4 games decided by a few points or overtime, and it's been a dogfight the entire time. But Denver got their split in Clipperland, and they're back to the mountains for game 5. So this has been the most exciting series in the playoffs for most people. And the winner of this series, this hard fought battle, gets a fully rested Oklahoma City Thunder team uh, to attend to. So that should be hopefully not a buzzsaw for them once once they come up for air for this 7 game series. But I'm super excited about it so far, and I can't wait for Game 5. What did you think? Did you think that that ball, that that shot by Aaron Gordon should have counted at the buzzer?
I was muted. My apologies.
I couldn't hear you.
Initially, uh, I didn't think it counted. I was like, "There's no shot." Like what? Like because how perfect does it have to be for that to count, right? And I was like, "There's no way," because I had just gone, and I always get like an energy drink when I wake up in the mornings, and so I slept in, so I missed like the first half of it, and so I went and got my drink. I walked back into that happening, like it's just heave. And I walked in, I was like, okay, like no, like that didn't happen. But when I had saw it back, I counted it. But crazy. You don't obviously see that too often. Off the top of my head, there's only two other times where I've seen this like game winning lobs. And it was Tyson Chandler when he was on the Suns. Pretty sure it was against the Grizzlies. And then obviously the Valley Oop that the Suns did to beat the Clippers in game two, the year they went to the finals. But um,
I saw Dwight Howard make a game winning dunk before in a game. It obviously probably wasn't a playoff game. Otherwise, they probably would have mentioned it. But I
yeah,
definitely recall that happening, and I thought that was so crazy
I mean,
when I saw that.
because who's like,
But it was a play. They ran a play.
yeah, they ran. Was it like an out of
And
bounds play?
yeah, an out of bounds
Yeah.
play, and Dwight Howard caught it and dunked it
Was that
with
when he was
like,
with Charlotte? That was with you when he was with Charlotte, right?
Lord, it was a long time ago. I don't remember.
Because
It could have been the Magic. It could have been Dwight Howard. I'm not sure. It
yeah, I
wasn't
mean,
L.A.
it wasn't LA. So it was
It. I
of
don't
the
think it,
seven
it
other
wasn't
teams he played
Houston.
for.
It wasn't
But
Houston. If I
um,
had to guess, I would say it was Orlando.
or so early Dwight then.
hmm It was
Um,
so impressive. I really loved early Dwight.
I
He
mean,
was
who
so
doesn't?
good.
Like being that athletic is just crazy, and at his size is what make like he's the real Superman. I'm sorry, Shaq, but I don't see Shaq doing the stuff he was doing at one point. Like I didn't see that, so I'm gonna give him the title for Superman. But yeah, Clippers obviously lost the game from an inbound lob, 101-99. Um, and it
a lot of a,
truthfully, go ahead.
I was gonna say a lot of people have been debating Kawhi's legacy online. Like a lot
Yeah,
of them have been trying to say, "Hey, a healthy Kawhi is what you wanted LeBron James to be, like the Michael Jordan of the NBA type thing." And I'm like, hold on a second.
yeah,
Y'all are putting a lot of something on somebody who's only won, I think, 2 titles.
two, yep,
One with San Antonio in 2014 and one with the Raptors in 2019. And
yeah,
the rest of the time hasn't been he hasn't been healthy for the most part.
healthy. That
A
that
lot of that
that's the
stuff not due to
issue.
him, but yeah. So I don't understand how people like to discuss legacies in that format. Like, hey, if LeBron loses in this game one or in this first round, then all of a sudden he's worse than whoever, Jordan, Kobe, you name it. But Steph
Yeah,
Curry wins. He's way better. He's way better than LeBron. But we're talking about 40-year-olds right now. Like
yeah. I mean,
Jordan
he's
was
40.
retired by that time.
Like,
Mm.
no, I'll say this because this is off topic from the series, obviously. Um, the people who think LeBron James anything at this point, obviously, if he gets like swept, that's a little different because that's kind of like embarrassing for LeBron because LeBron can always get you a win, even at any. I mean, at the age of 40. Like, I don't think Michael
Mhm.
Jordan was getting teams wins at the age of 40, like in the playoffs too. I know he had lost when
He was no longer playing. Like
that's what I'm saying. So
the
it's like,
tail end of his 30s were missing the playoffs in what everybody says is the weak East. So
yeah. And
as weak as the East is, he couldn't make the playoffs there. So
and what about those years he got bounced in the first round? I've never heard a Michael Jordan fan ever bring me up those years when they're trying to debate me. But that's all I got to say about that. No, Kawhi, I mean, 24 points with 9 boards and 2 assists. And obviously he had the 40 point performance in game 2. Yeah, I mean, Kawhi is like on a like he's Kawhi is still the same Kawhi that we've known. It's just if he stays healthy or not, right? That's the factor. Um,
mhm.
but as a Clippers team, I mean, truthfully, uh, not the greatest performance in general from just that Clippers team.
Mhm.
They had let me double check the score. Yeah, uh, they beat them 117-83. We obviously skimmed over that, but it kind of I'll give praise to David Alderman, right? That's his name, the Nuggets
Uh-huh.
head coach,
Uh-huh.
making adjustments here. That we took that was kind of before game 3. That was our factor. It's like if he can, like if this one loss is it, then that's like, then are they cooked then? I mean, and then obviously we saw game 3 them get blown out, but like they won game 4. Like he's doing as a freshman head or rookie head coach, making adjustments in the playoffs against a Clippers team that is playing good basketball. I'll give it credit to credit where credit is due. But Jokic had 36, 21 boards and 8 assists in game 4. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean it really was it was a tight game down to the stretch. I can't really remember every part of that game vividly, but uh yeah, nevertheless, it's going to be a great series. Uh and I'm going to give my game 5 prediction here. Uh I
Go
think the
ahead.
Nuggets are going to take this and take game 5. And then I think we might just see Clippers domination for after that. I think that's my opinion, but I guess we'll have to see then.
So you say the Nuggets will win game 5 and then the Clippers will win the rest of the series? Is that
Yes,
what you're saying?
yes.
Ah, that's interesting.
What you don't think so?
No. So I do feel like the Clippers have more weapons than Denver does.
Yeah,
But first of all, there's no way that Denver wins game 5 and then loses the next two. That's I just not seeing that happen. But I also feel like Denver Denver just has so the Clippers got a good coach in Tyronn Lue,
yep,
but David Adelman has only lost one game as a head coach,
that is true.
and he has the best player on the court. Nikola Jokic finished last game with 36 points, 21 rebounds, and 8 assists. And somebody, people at the end were obviously going to try to be like, "Hey, he's to blame or something for missing that shot at the end." Of
No,
course not. That
no,
man's dominating just like he's been dominating all season long.
yeah,
Uh, they got the best player on the court, no matter what people on the internet say about Kawhi Leonard or James Harden when he's on a heater. And I feel that they have what it takes to close close out those Clippers. I do not think that the Clippers can go into Denver and and win anymore. I think the first win was kind of fluky,
hmm
and they start sucking wind and stuff when it comes to playing tight games up there in the
yeah,
mountains where it's harder to breathe and stuff. And Jokic, there's still no answer for Jokic,
yeah,
even with as big as Ivica Zubac is. He scored 19. He scored 19 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists in the last game. You feel like that's comparable. That's comparable when it comes to trying to defend against Jokic, but there's still no way to stop him. And if you
yeah,
can't find a way to slow him down, then then your goal is to try to slow down everybody else. And
Yeah.
in this last game, they didn't. All starters finished with double figures.
Yeah.
So I'm not liking the Clippers' chances if they're getting good games from Kawhi Leonard, getting good games from Norman Powell, uh, getting a double double from James Harden, and still losing.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
mean,
think
that is, I mean, that,
The Denver's top five got to be better than the Clippers' top five.
yeah. And the Nuggets did beat them in game 4. And the Clippers only had 9 turnovers. So true, at the end of the day, they weren't playing terrible basketball either. It's not like it got
Yeah.
sloppy and they came back. Like it was like, I want to see what they, as a team, from what they shot. I mean, they shot
Imagine you're
33 for
not
7.
playing. Yeah. Imagine you're
Yeah.
not playing terrible.
Yeah.
You have a good game and you lose anyway at home. So in order to, and then you're gonna lose again in game 5 and then turn around and win the next 2. I'm not seeing it.
But I can't take it back. I can't take it back. I said it. I'm riding with it. I'm riding with it. I think crazy take here. I'm expecting a Russell Westbrook 60-point triple double in the next game. That's just what I'm expecting. No, no,
Nah,
obviously not. But
Westbrook missed this past game with a
yeah,
foot injury.
foot
I'm not even sure if
inflammation.
he's gonna play. I'm not
But
even sure if he's gonna play the next game.
yeah, yeah, but obviously we're in for a good series here. This is as much as we could ask for, honestly. Like I wanted more good series, not these 2-3 ones that we have right now with Detroit and the Knicks and the Lakers and the Timberwolves. But I'm happy with at least one really good series. So I'm not going to complain about it too much. Another game that happened today, the game 4 Knicks.
Oh, good.
Pistons.
I'm glad we're talking about that one.
Yep. The end score of today's game was 94-93. The Knicks take the win, and with a commanding 3-1 lead over the Detroit Pistons. All right, you wanted to talk about it. I'll let you open up the stage.
You remember my prediction? Knicks in 5.
Is that what you said?
I believe so. Mm-hmm.
See, now I believe I said Pistons in 7. I think
something like that. Yeah.
something like that. I'd have to go back and check. I can do that. Let's see.
Man, next playoffs, I'm writing these predictions down. We're gonna
I know
just
that's
have them posted on the pod and be like, all right, we're gonna hold y'all to these predictions that y'all be throwing out there all willy nilly.
For next round, we'll make sure that we have all the information. We'll put it on the social media so we can't duck it. Where did I have my picks?
Yeah, I'm sure everybody remembers me saying Lakers in 7, and they're down 3-1 right now. So
that's what I'm saying.
That's gonna be one of those things. But I feel like I was right with the Knicks. I feel like I was 100% right with the 1-8 seeds.
Mm-hmm.
My Celtics one isn't doing good. But let's talk about these Knicks and Pistons.
Sweet.
The Jalen Brunson is a baller.
Yeah,
I think that Jalen Brunson. A lot of people wanted to crown Cade Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons as the king, the top point guard in the Eastern Conference, and Jalen Brunson has something to say about that.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, if you could pull up his stats, he was pretty dominant.
Yeah.
In this game, it was a whole lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
Especially in that fourth quarter between the Pistons and the Knicks trading 3-point shots, trading clutch shots. Karl Anthony Towns had a shot behind the backboard that went in when they covered up Jalen Brunson, and then he followed that up with a 3-pointer to close a 5-point gap. Yeah. The Pistons went back up with the Cade Cunningham shot, and then Jalen Brunson makes a shot, and just a whole bunch of back and forth between the stars. They all showed up for like the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. It was literally everything you could ask for an NBA game. I was so impressed. You had Spike Lee in the front row, in the Detroit crowd. The Detroit crowd going crazy when their team made a play. The referees, for the most part, had their hands off and let these guys play. Another thing that a lot of people really like. And the Knicks made more plays than the young Pistons team, which is what I imagined it to be the case, despite Tom Thibodeau running those guys to the ground in terms of their minutes. But if you look back, I felt that the Knicks were lucky to get out of New York with a split,
Yep.
and they've they've made up for it with these last two games here in Detroit. I
Yeah.
feel like they had good control of that first game against in Detroit,
Yep.
despite the Detroit crowd not seeing a playoff game since 2000 or since not seeing a playoff win since 2008, and they came away with a split in New York. So they were hype and rocking for their game three, and
Yep.
New York came and took their chain for the most part. The Pistons came back, um, made a made a bunch of points near the end to make it a close. I think it was a 2 point game or a 1 point game, but the Pistons never really had a shot at that one. It was this one where they were up big late in the fourth quarter. Not up big, up like 5 points or so,
Mhm.
6 points in the fourth quarter, and the Knicks just had more weapons than they did between Jalen Brunson and Carl Anthony Towns taking most of the shots.
Yeah. Jalen Brunson ended this game with 32 points, 5 boards, and 11 assists. And half of it, his points came in the fourth. He had 15, uh, 1 for 1 from three, but 7 for 11 from the field with zero free throws. Uh, the foul
Mm.
baiter is not a true statement anymore, I guess. But
No free throw merchant.
yeah, no free throw merchant. Um, you, Thibodeau obviously plays his guys a bunch. OG had 39 minutes, Mikal 44, Josh Hart 42, Cat 40, Brunson 39. So let's round that up to 40. That's insane. Like that's crazy. Um, but yeah, I mean, Cat hitting the big shot, the game winner, fade away out of bounds, pretty much. Like, I was amazed. And then, but then you go, then there was a play in between there. I can't really remember it, but the last play of the game, Pistons have the ball. Tim Hardaway Jr.'s in the corner and gets fouled, maybe, right? Like that's
Yes,
like then,
yes.
but did the 2 minute report come out yet of where they
That's not going
like
to come out. That's not going to come out till tomorrow. So the last 2 minute report is a report that the NBA puts out when they when any game that's being that they referee is within a certain number of points with the last in the last 5 minutes. Like if the game is within, I think 5 points or 10 points or something like that
yeah
in the last 5 minutes of the game, they will let you know uh, what fouls or calls or anything like that that the referees missed, or something that was controversial, whether that was a good call or an incorrect call and that should have went the other direction. It doesn't change the outcome of the game, but it lets people know uh, where they feel like something. If they felt like they were wrong by the ref, the NBA goes back and reviews and actually releases what the how the refs did, kind of like a grade for them.
yeah
In this instance, you didn't actually have to worry about that because I feel like there was a press pool in which they talked to a referee after the game and they said, yes, correct. The Pistons were down by, I think, 2 points,
yeah
and they tried to take a shot, missed, and the ball caromed all over the place, and it kind of rolled to the corner three where Tim Hardaway ran and picked it up and took tried to take a shot. Josh Hart jumped up and kind of hit him on his shoulder,
yeah
and as he was going up to take the shot, and that's free throws, especially when you looked at it on replay. But the referees did not call anything, and the game ended at that point. So the Knicks were able to pull out a close one.
This is the exact quote from referee David Guthrie, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. The question was, what did you see on that last series, and why wasn't there a foul called on Tim Hardaway Jr.'s 3 point attempt? He replies, "But during a live play, it was judged that Josh Hart made a legal defensive play. After post game review, we observed that Hart made body contact that is more than marginal to Hardaway Jr., and a foul should have been called." is
Yeah.
the quote from David Guthrie himself.
No, no last 2 minute report needed.
Yeah,
Everybody could see it, and it's not something where it should have been a judgment call. It's really, I think the ball was going kind of all over the place, and
hmm
they were looking at a bunch of things, and for whatever reason, that shot, which could have potentially been the game winner, that's the part that they missed the foul, and it would have been a really tough. It wouldn't necessarily have been a tough call per se because you're in Detroit,
yeah,
but in general, just a call that a referee has to make. Me being a former AAU referee, so I've had quite a bit of experience, some experience as a referee refereeing basketball games, no NBA games, obviously. But making a tough call there at the end is something that is very difficult to do. You kind of want the players to kind of play it out. You don't want the game
yeah,
decided on free throws. But if something is obvious, you got to make the tough decisions.
yeah. Um, a play. I want to touch on a certain player for this series. Asar Thompson, a guy who I thought was going to have a phenomenal series. Honestly, I mean, obviously he's been guarding Jalen Brunson. Right, it's hard to stop Jalen Brunson as much as you can. Um, but I mean, for the Piston side of things, like to make matters worse, I guess. I mean, Asar Thompson not having a great series himself, fouling out of 2 games, I believe. Um, and then I can't remember. I don't think he fouled out of the game 3, but yeah. Cade Cunningham, I want to give him credit though. 25-point triple double, 10 boards, 10
Oh,
assists.
nice,
Um,
nice.
I mean he got that shot off there. He got OG, a respected defender, I'd say, off him. Had an open shot, misses it, leaves it short. But I know the series isn't officially over, but 95% of teams have came back from a 3-1 lead. One team has actually done that, or in 95% just in general. So I kind of just want to give the Pistons something here. I If I'm a Pistons fan, I'm not worried. Like, you have one playoff series in however many years in however many years since the last time you made the playoffs. The last time you've won a playoff game at home was what we say 2008, 2008,
Yeah,
2009.
they still haven't won one at home yet.
Yeah, which is crazy. And who knows if they get to go back home for this series? Obviously, um, hopefully they do, because I'm hoping that would mean my pick is right. But I don't see that happening where they're going to come back 3-1. Um, but I have a question for you on this as well. Who do you think is a closer team to being a contender, the Pistons or the Rockets? I don't want any bias in this though.
Funny that you mentioned that. I did want to address the education that the Thompson twins have been receiving in these playoffs.
Yeah,
The education being from on the Rockets end, Amen Thompson getting that education on Steph Curry. He held him to 3 points or something like that the regular in their regular season finale
yep,
between each other. But the playoffs is a different breed of animal, and Steph Curry is getting what he wants to such an extent that
yeah,
Fred VanVleet is the main defender on him. On the other side, his brother Asar Thompson is getting worked by Jalen Brunson to the degree that he can't stay on the court and
yeah,
can't control his emotions either. They're getting between the two of them. I forget how many technical fouls they've received,
yeah,
flagrant fouls in Amen Thompson's case,
yeah,
infighting and arguing with both referees and opponents on the court. Between the two of them, it seems like both of them can't keep their emotions in check either.
yeah,
For two guys who seem to be kind of quiet guys, I
yeah,
thought what they were just hardworking, really tough defenders and stuff, getting worked
worked.
on the defensive end. In terms of who's closer to contention, at the end of the day, you just got to look at the standings. Um, Completely unbiased, the Rockets won 52 games and
Yep.
was number 2 in the Western Conference. Last season, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Denver Nuggets were tied for first in the West with, I forget, like 54 wins or something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Something to that effect.
Yeah.
They were both tied for first in the West. So, and then this season, the Rockets are getting 52. So I would say that's pretty good. Having home court advantage and being able to face what's supposed to be a weaker team early means you should technically be able to get further down the playoff chain
Hmm.
versus Detroit team that finished sixth. And the Eastern Conference has the defending champion in the Boston Celtics
Yep.
in their conference, and another excellent contender in the Cleveland Cavaliers, who had the best record in the league for the majority of the season until the tail end of it.
Yep.
So, in terms of contending means getting to the NBA Finals and potentially doing something with it.
Yep.
Detroit's further away.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and the reason I had asked this question because one of my buddies had asked me it, and I wasn't sure how to answer it. Honestly, I didn't want to give a definite answer to him because I just felt like for me it's a coin toss, right? Because like I think both teams are seriously one move away from breaking that cusp, and I understand that the Pistons are sixth in the East, right? I just want to yes, sixth in the East. But I mean, I think they're a Devin Booker away. I think the Houston Rockets are Kevin Durant or Devin Booker away. So, yeah, but that's honestly, that was my opinion right there, was that I think both of those teams are 2 or 1 players away from winning a championship.
If the Rockets got the number 1 pick in that 2021 draft and were able to select Cade Cunningham instead of Jalen Green,
yeah,
it's almost like the closer that the Rockets are looking for is on the Pistons, and the depth that the Pistons are looking for is on the Rockets.
Yeah. And you probably have this off the top of your head. Jabari Smith, he 3rd pick, correct?
Yes.
I mean, that they're 2 picks away from getting either Paolo or Chet. Like they're like that. I like what you said. Like they're Cade Cunningham is 1 pick away. Paolo and Chet are 1 to 2 picks away. So it's like it's really luck of the lottery, I guess. So, but yeah. The next game, Pistons Knicks. I just want to make sure I have the date here. Tuesday, 4:30 p.m. PST.
Next game or last game?
Next game. I don't think it's over. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's over in 5. I don't think For me, like for some reason, like I've said multiple times, I just ride with this Pistons team for some reason. Maybe it's because I've watched them the last 2 years. So I just hope it's not over. I want to see it one more Pistons win, and then after that point, I want the basketball gods to give me give me the best playoff series they can. One more series I wanted to touch on here. Obviously, this is your team. My team's not in the playoffs, so I want to talk about at least one of our teams here. Warriors Rockets.
It's not the last series. It's not the last series. My other team, the Heat.
That's right.
They're still alive.
They are still alive.
They have on their dying breath, but they're still alive. So we can gloss over that one quickly. But yeah. we'll go Warriors Rockets next. What would you like to discuss?
I mean I know it's not a 3-1. It's a 2-1. I believe the next game is tomorrow. I believe. Yes, it is tomorrow. What do you see that for some reason that these players can't? Tell me what you can see and they can't see. That is making this so entertaining to watch.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really difficult to be close to it and give your honest assessment.
Yeah.
So as a Rockets fan, of course, it sucks that the Warriors' second best player has been out for 1.5 games, and the Warriors made a game of the game that you won, and then beat you without him for that whole game three. Jimmy Butler's out with a hip injury as a
Yeah.
result of being undercut by a falling Amen Thompson. It wasn't an intentional foul there.
Hmm.
And he's been out for a game and a half. However, the Warriors have been able to cobble together a, a team full of Quentin Post and uh, Posminski and Gary Payton Jr. and
Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hill, like, and finding a way to generate points, even
Hmm.
though they started off really slow in this last game three. The Warriors did, but their defense was holding up. They basically forced the ball away from Jalen Green, who scored 38 points in the Rockets' victory game two.
Yep.
And he went from 7 points in game one to 38 points in game two to 9 points in game three. And they forced the other Rockets to beat them. And Amen Thompson did not show up to do that. He had a poor shooting game and defensive game uh, as a new starter. Operation Goon did not have a good scoring shooting game.
Yep.
And Fred Van Vliet has not made more than 5 field goals in a game since like January. So if
Wait, is
he's
that a
putting
real
up,
stat?
yes, that's a real stat. So if he's putting up more if he's putting up more shots than the guy who was your leading scorer in Jalen Green,
Yeah.
and Jalen Green's supposed to average 22 points a game for you guys,
Hmm.
if Fred Van Vliet is taking all those shots and obviously missing them, where are the points going to come from? It seems like a lost cause if Jalen Green does not want to force the issue. If he is more willing to be a passer to the Amens and Fred Van Vliet's to and even Operation Goons to miss shots,
Hmm.
then you've already lost. He's your leading scorer. It's been proven over the 82 game season
Yep.
who what happens when your leading scorer does well. Jalen Green scores 30 points, the Rockets are 30-1.
That's great. That's crazy, actually.
So why is it that he's only getting like less than 10 shots in a game and scoring single digit points in the playoffs? If he needs to crack it from the logo in order to get a shot up, maybe that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
As good of a rebounding team as the Rockets are, they're the number one rebounding team in the league,
Hmm.
and they're getting offensive rebounds like crazy. Maybe they need to shift starters. Jabari Smith has actually had a good game every game of the series,
Yep.
and he was a starter for most of the season until he got hurt and Amen Thompson got inserted into the starting lineup. So maybe that's the direction they go. But
Yep.
what I do know is that for whatever reason, you name it, Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith, Dylan Brooks, I've seen them all try to guard Curry. They can't do it.
No.
At
It's
37 years old, I believe he's 37. Steph Curry is running circles around my young Rockets team, and
yeah.
it seems like they don't have an answer for that. Now, if they score 40, if Curry scores 40 and they shut down everybody else, they should be able to win.
Yeah.
But their offense comes into question, which makes me question Ime Udoka's strategy on the
Yep.
offensive end because the offense has been as inconsistent as Jalen Green has been all season.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Uh, and maybe the answer is just, I mean, Steph Curry, right? Like maybe that's the answer to it. It's that he's still an elite player that deserves elite respect. Um, but yeah, I don't I don't know. So it's like I'm trying to decide here if I think obviously they're only down one game, but you can tell a lot from these games. Obviously, like we're not stupid here. Like we can see what's happening in these games. Um, I mean, I as a Rockets fan, I'd be praying that Jimmy just doesn't come back. I guess like that's for me. Like that's like obviously, and you lose a game with Jimmy out, like that kind. It says some stuff. But
If Jimmy's out and y'all losing,
by 11,
what do you? Yeah, what
yeah,
do you
that's
do?
the thing. It's like obviously you still hope Jimmy's out, and then you just triple Steph and just hope that Buddy Hield just starts missing. Like that's like pretty
He
much it.
won't.
Like it's hard. Yeah, it's and but the thing is, it's like this Rockets team it's another one of those young teams that it's like I would not be, if I was the Rockets GM, uh, if they get eliminated this series and we do that, and you ask me the question, what do you do? I'm sticking with the majority of these guys as much as I can, and you still have a guy on the bench in Cam Whitmore who hasn't played, so maybe try giving him some minutes, like change it up here. See if different personnel, like what happens if Steph sees four to five different type of defenders on him the entire night, not counting switches, obviously. But you even have Reed Shepard, who the rookie who you drafted third overall, I believe, right? Third or fourth,
Yes, third.
who hasn't played either. Like I know they're only down one game, but I'm still just giving them something here. Maybe you put them in at the end of the second with time running down. Like maybe they can end the second quarter on a heater, and you open up the third, and you have just that momentum because the vibes are high in the locker room because you had like a 10-point stretch with 2 minutes left in the go in the second quarter. So it's like maybe you change it up that way. It's tough. It's tough.
You have a full roster and you're experimenting as the 2 seed in the Western Conference. That sounds like you are pulling for straws. Like you're hoping that something strikes gold here.
Yeah.
And if you're playing from that perspective, you've probably already lost the series mentally.
Yeah.
So Ime Udoka is the kind of coach you would probably show a force type thing. I'm not going to change anything, and we're just going to play
Understandable.
harder. We're going to play harder on defense. Steph Curry's going to get his, and we're going to find a way to keep Gary Payton Jr. from scoring all those points. Maybe we
Yeah.
put Maybe we put Amen Thompson on him. He's supposed to be a lockdown defender. Had the third or fourth most first place votes for defensive player of the year. But if for whatever reason he can't guard Curry, put him on the second best scorer,
Yeah.
and try to limit their points that way. Keep
Yeah.
them off the line because y'all are missing free throws and they're not. So I would try to play defense without fouling, and if Steph
Keep the
Curry gets his,
composure.
Steph Curry
Keep
gets his.
composure as well. I mean, you touched on that before with the
Don't
two
let go of the
brothers
rope.
getting super upset over this, and obviously they're young. They're gonna have emotions like this, like every human does. But you got to keep it cool and collected, or you'll see Draymond Green like what he did, tell Jalen Green to go paint his nails. Like they're gonna keep going at you because they want to hit that button to
Mm-hmm.
make you just pissed, obviously. And that's a part of the game.
Dylan Brooks in that game had 3 fouls in the first quarter, I believe, and Ime Udoka kept him in the game, almost like he refused to take him out and concede that it's a foul trouble issue, and maybe that had a deleterious effect on, like a downward effect on the rest of the defense for that half. When you got a guy playing with those kind of fouls, it kind of doesn't play as hard to try to keep from getting yet another foul. Dylan Brooks eventually fouled out, and he's the Rockets' best 3-point shooter,
Yeah.
not named Reed Shepard. Allegedly, Reed Shepard's supposed to be a good 3-point shooter,
Yeah.
but I think that it's hard to tell what to do so close up, and I'm hoping that what they change up is something in terms of the lineups in the minutes.
Yeah.
If you need Fred VanVleet on a shorter leash, the guys who are shooting all those shots, then that's what you do, because apparently Jalen Green has to be forced to keep the ball, let him bring it up. So
Yeah.
maybe he keeps the ball and gets his shots off, knowing that he needs to get shots off in order to get to his 22, and the Rockets have a better chance to win.
Yeah, and no, I just wanna see something here. I wanna see what Jalen Green's usage percentage is, for these last, 3 games, because I feel like that obviously he's gonna have a high usage percentage because he scored, I can't forgive me for forgetting the number off the top of my head, but, I mean, it's just it I mean, what
Seven
else can
points in game one, 38 points in game two, and 9 points
yeah.
in game three.
It's just I cannot find his exact usage usage numbers for these games, but obviously if he's only scoring 9 points and only taking 11 shots, it can't be that high, right? But yeah, damn, we really had it. That was good for the Rockets there. I was not expecting all that, but yeah, I'm excited still for Game 4. I'm like, nothing's not going to get me excited from that because I think this series like really at any point could turn around on its head and we could see like just the Rockets just start clicking instantly, and then we actually have a series on our hands.
But then the expectation is that they're just going to be inconsistent and potentially fall flat on their face the very next game.
That's
The
true.
consistency is just so lacking with this team,
Yeah.
and they already can't shoot. So we're sitting there really depending on this rebounding that we're doing.
Hmm.
If if we ever find a way of getting out rebounded, do we win games if we get out rebounded? I'm not seeing it.
Yeah. That's the thing is that rebounds just mean everything. That's it. That's just what I'm
And
getting.
free
Yeah.
throws. We're not good free throw shooting team. There's hack of Steven Adams that they're doing, and Steven
Yeah.
Adams makes or misses those, and
As
it
a
slows
team,
down any runs we make.
73% free throw percentage as a team. That would rank 30th in the NBA, which kind of says a lot. Your other team, the Heat, they're
Oh
down
Lord,
3-0. They're just
we
kind
can
of
wrap this up real quick.
yeah.
Go ahead.
You can go ahead and speak upon. I'm not
All
gonna
right.
lie. I have not paid attention to this series. It's been the least entertaining series in my opinion, but that's just me. So
Series is 3-0 Cleveland.
mhm.
Uh, Miami felt like they made it a series with how they competed in game two.
Yeah,
Outside of that, um, the threes that the Cavs rained on them in the second period of game two, the Heat felt like they mostly had control of that game. They still lost, and then the floodgates opened up in game three.
yeah,
There was talking between the series between Tyler Hero and Darius Garland. Darius Garland openly said that we hunt Hero on offense,
yeah.
and they're not worried about him.
Mhm.
And Tyler Hero responded, when a team is up on you and they feel comfortable discussing strategy in the media
Yeah,
with what they're doing, because most teams be like, both teams play hard. I respect them.
yeah,
Even their coach came out and said, "Hey, that Miami Heat team completely healthy is a 4 seed in the Eastern Conference." He's lying, but he's deferring and kind of giving the opponent
mhm.
respect in the media. But their behind closed doors conversation came out because Darius Garland can openly mock his competition, knowing full well that when the ball tips up, there's nothing that they can do about it, and it
Yeah,
showed. Bam Adebayo's getting paid 50 some million per year, and Tyler Hero's, who's eligible for an extension this summer, by the way, is their second highest paid player, I believe, at like 30 some million a year.
something like that, I believe. Yeah,
And between the two of them, I'm not seeing pieces that can win a championship uh, between from either guy. It
yeah,
looks like they got two Robins on their team and no Batmans, if you even want to call them Robins.
yeah,
They,
yeah,
they Tyler Hero feels like he's a piece to a championship team, but he's not the first banana, second banana, third banana.
no,
Even I feel like he's a piece. Like when the Miami Heat made it to the finals in 2020 in the bubble,
Yep.
he was a rookie, and Tyler Hero had one good game against the Celtics in the conference finals, but otherwise mostly solid rookie, 8-10 points a game.
Yep.
He's increased that to, I forget how many points a game he's scoring now, like high mid 20s, something like that.
23.9. So 24.
So 24 points a game right now, which is good, but
Mhm.
I'm not sure if the way he plays is conducive to a championship,
No,
a championship winning team.
no.
I haven't seen a shooter like that be able to bring their team to any kind of postseason glory since I think Reggie Miller when they went to the finals in 2000, and he was their best player.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
I
obviously
think
there's a gap between Reggie Miller and Tyler Hero as well. Like just
I
personnel.
there's a gap between that Pacers team that had those monsters in the middle, uh, and what the Heat have in a young Khalil Ware and Bam Adebayo, who seems to kind of compartmentalize the way he plays. Like
Yeah.
this game is an offensive game, but the next game is a defensive game. He can't seem to be like, all right, this quarter they need me on defense, but obviously we're not scoring over here, so I need to get going and make something happen, whether it be free throws or just attacking aggressively, taking the open 3 point shot just to kind of change things up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like he's picking his spots game to game instead of quarter to quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they needed offense. They got blown out in this game 3, and
Yeah.
the series is going to be over in 4, just like I predicted, by the way. Um,
Yeah.
because the Heat just don't have enough on their roster. But shout
Yeah.
out to them for being the first 10 seed to make the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to be the first team to come back from 3-0.
And I would like to see that because I mean, who doesn't want to see that? We almost saw it with the Heat blowing it. Correct. That the Celtics
Yes.
came back. Like, like
Yes.
we that would be funny though. But I still want to give Tyler Hero his credit. Obviously, I mean, he's the reason they're in this position right now. He had 38 against the Bulls, like in the playing game. Um, but yeah, it's just like, I mean, a team collected of Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Andrew Wiggins, and Davion Mitchell is not. That's just not a like a playoff team, right? Like, I mean, obviously, you can any team can have its moments where they look insane, but it's just the talent to talent level there is not there. And I mean, they got beat. Let me pull the exact score up here. 87 to 124 with, I mean, Darius Garland out with a sprained toe. Like he wasn't playing. So I mean, like, and who knows if he even plays to, I think that game is tomorrow. I believe, yes, at 4:30 Pacific.
They sacrificed the lottery pick for the experience that Khalil Ware and the young guys could get in these playoffs, and
Yeah.
now they know what they look like with Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo leading the team. It
Yeah.
it doesn't look great.
No.
Um, we'll see what they do come off season. Shout out to Cleveland.
Yeah.
I really like their roster and their professionalism
Mhm.
as it comes to beating teams. I feel like they have been better than the Oklahoma City Thunder, despite the Thunder going for 51 point win against the Grizzlies in game 1.
Yeah.
They've been able to get their guys going, and SGA I think just got going in
Yep.
that last game, but
Yeah.
he wasn't having a good series. And
No.
like Josh said, he felt that they were beatable. Like them being down 30 is not a good look for a team that's predicted to make it all the way to the finals.
Yeah.
Them being down 29 points against the eighth seed versus Cleveland has been by a large professional beat down more than I could say about any of the teams that have currently been playing. So shout out to Cleveland, really deep team.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell leading that team, and they are probably looking at this Pacers team that just beat Milwaukee tonight. So now they're up 3-1
Yep.
going into Indiana. Quite, is that right? So
I believe
yeah,
so.
they're, they're
Yes.
gonna go to Indiana for Game 5, and
Yep.
Indiana's up 3-1. And
Yeah.
Damian Lillard is probably out,
Yeah.
non-contact injury. So
Terrible. That's what I hate to say it, but that stuff happens in basketball. Like that's just it's almost inevitable sometimes for the guy. And obviously, like get well, Dame. Dame is a player I do enjoy watching. Don't get me wrong. Even though I was pretty upset during that Bucks segment there about kind of how everything's going on there. But yeah, obviously got to give Dame respect to gotta respect Dame. He's been around for a while. So, all right, Hidro, where can they find you?
I am at the Hero Joe, ThaHeroJoe on Twitter, now called X, and also Instagram. You can also find my articles on bellyupsports.com. How about you?
You can find me on Twitter at Hammy2004. Hammy spelled with an IE at the end, not HAMMY. Obviously, you can find our Twitter on the screen at the Hardwood Huddle. Um, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Let us know y'all if y'all
Like and
like the show.
subscribe.
Yes, like and subscribe. We need all the views. Share with your friends, family, your mom, your grandma. Um, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Hidro, have a good one.
All right, you too. Take care.